Hey guys, Kevin, Muddy River Tactical. Thank you for joining us. Everybody's been asking us recently about suppressors and is now the time to buy them. You know, me personally in the past, I've never been that interested in buying them just because you buy them and then you wait a year, 10, 11 months. And by then, I don't really care or forgot the recent one I just had, Brett told me it came in. I'm like, well, I kind of forgot about it. So with these new times, can you tell us what's going on with the times as far as the tax stamps and how it's all working currently?
We'll start first by going through a couple differences. There are two different ways to file paperwork, and I'll go over some basic just details. You have a Form 1, which is if you are building your own suppressor, your own SBR, and you have a Form 4, that's if you buy a suppressor or SBR. Okay. And we have Silencer Shop is who we use for paperwork. If we have them do the paperwork for us, and we use the kiosk here. You'll notice between us here, we have a kiosk from Silencer Shop. It does the fingerprints, it asks you the ATF legal questions, it gets you all your personal information, and so Silencer Shop can do all the paperwork for us.
Your trust and everything.
Your trust.
If you decide to go that
Yeah,
route.
so you can, well, you're not buying the trust on the kiosk. That is one question I get all the time. You're just selecting the registration type. Okay. So you're selecting whether you're using a trust or individual. And that's my next detail that I was going to get into. So the two types of registrations are a trust. So whether you can buy a single shot trust, I don't want to get into details of all this stuff right now, but you have a single shot trust and you have a traditional trust from the past where you can put multiple things in there. The individual way is there is no trust. It's the suppressor or SBR is in your name, the tax stamp's in your name, and nobody else can possess that without having you present.
Are those the ones coming back faster?
Yes, so right now that I'm getting those, I've seen them as soon as 30 hours. I've had one come back approved. 2 to 3 days is about what I've been telling everybody. I have out of 10 or so, I've had a couple that are still taking a week. The trust I'm getting in about 4 months right now.
Okay. So in theory, if somebody wanted to come in as an individual so that they could get it soon, get it in their possession, can they switch it to a trust later?
Yes, you
if
can.
They so chose?
Yes, you can. So to do that, you just basically go through the whole process, pay your tax stamp. It's roughly $200, depending on where you get it from. And then after you get it in your possession, you get the approved tax stamp. When in the future, if you decide to add it to a trust, you can do that. You pay for the cost of the trust, then you have to buy the tax stamp again and wait for the ATF to send you another approved tax stamp for your new trusted item.
But you have the suppressor
but you have it in your possession
at
at that point, so you don't have to wait and have it in, we call, ATF jail or whatever.
Yeah. So that was the big thing is everybody, they didn't want to buy them. And by us saying this, we're by no means guaranteeing you're going to get it back in 4 or 5 days. We have zero control over that. We're just telling you what the trend is currently. Mm-hmm. So we have, as soon as you submit the paperwork, you're at their mercy as far as what comes back or not.
Absolutely, yeah. We're still relying on the government at this point. And right now it's 2 to 3 days for individual. Trust, I've had them as soon as 4 months right now. It's roughly 5 to 6 months, I would say, on average.
So do you see people coming in our shop, at least, are more of them doing the individuals so that they get it back sooner?
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up because right now I've sold probably 40 to 50 in the last 3 weeks since I started getting them back in 2 to 3 days. It's going to happen across the country that way. Yeah. They're out of stock almost everywhere and they're trickling in. I'm trying to buy as I can to have a couple here in the store, but they're going out before I can even get them in possession. Absolutely. So that's kind of a thing going on.
That was my next question is with them, the demand going to pick up with them coming back.
Absolutely.
It could be that you are approved and have your tax stamp back before you can ever even get the suppressor here. Like if you order it online or something.
Well, no, you have to have the suppressor here in person before we can actually submit to the ATF because I have to have the number off the suppressor.
So it's still kind of at the mercy of supply and demand on how fast they can keep up with them.
Absolutely. Right now we're seeing it. They're not able to keep up with them right now. But in the past, like your story at the beginning, you bought a suppressor. I would just tell you to buy the suppressor and forget about it. Yeah. And then you'll get a surprise one day when you get your email or I'm calling you telling you that it's approved. Now it's kind of more streamlined the way it's supposed to be.
Okay. And this varies by state. Like we're at the Kansas line, so somebody from Kansas can't come in and use our kiosk. Is that correct?
Absolutely. It's still the same rules. You have to go to your state rules do apply. whether you can or can't have, and all those rules do apply.
Okay.
But you are going through the federal tax stamp.
And the kiosk, just for you that don't know how it works, and he knows way more than I do, but it's basically, you can come in before you'd have to go get your fingerprint somewhere. You can do all of it through a kiosk. So what I would suggest, if no matter where you're at, find somebody locally to you, whatever state, that has a kiosk. It makes your life 10 times simpler. It won't let you make the mistakes on the paperwork that you could or whatever, or it won't submit fingerprints that aren't right, because we've had people submit fingerprints and they not take them on the paper and they come back.
Absolutely. So what's great, we use Silencer Shop, so they go through your fingerprints before they submit it to the ATF, and they make sure that it's going to qualify and not get rejected. They pay your tax stamp for us, so you can come in here and pay me for everything, or you can go on their website and pay for everything. That's cool. And then they write the check physically to the ATF. They just do all the back end work. Like you said, you don't have to go to the local sheriff's department to get your fingerprints anymore. Yep. They do it all for us. So you do pay a small fee. It's like $15 right now to use them, but
it's well worth the convenience of gas and driving back and forth.
For $15,
knowing that it's right.
Yeah, for $15, it costs you that to find fingerprints in the city.
Awesome. Well, so that's kind of what we wanted to touch base on today, just the basics of where it's at. We get calls and questions every day about it, and now that people are hearing about that, and you see it on Instagram or people getting them back fast, they think it's fake. After a year wait time, people are like, oh, that guy's full of crap. But it's really not right now. Absolutely. So I would say if you are looking for a suppressor, not just in our area, across the country, I would probably look into it now. Like I said, we can't guarantee it's going to stay this way, but as of right now, it's super quick. And at this point, even if it took a month to get back, you're way ahead of what we were before.
Yeah, and I did reach out to the ATF to confirm that they plan on going this direction forward, and they did tell me that they're trying to get the trust paperwork down to a weekly time frame. Yeah,
because ideally, just a quick overview, you're probably better with it in a trust for something happened to you,
something happens to you, or you pass away after old age, whatever it may be. It can go to somebody, a family member, a friend, whatever you put in your trust.
And the kiosk walks you through that. It will tell you which one does what, so you can get what you want as well, instead of just assuming, oh, I want a trust, and you not really knowing what it is.
Yep.
So, all right, guys. Well, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below, or if you have any other things that you're curious about, let us know. We'll gladly do a video on them. We're here to help try to just bring not necessarily the knowledge, but just the trends of what's going on, because it's always changing, and it could change a week from now. But as of right now, you're looking at less than a week, I'd say.
Yeah, for individual.
Individual, sometimes a day or two. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below. And I appreciate your knowledge here, Brett, on this. And until next time, keep practicing and always be prepared.